my immediate younger brother lives in the UK. My
Okay.
uncle, who precisely grew up in my house, lives there with his family as well.
Okay.
A lot of people are very emotional when people speak the truth.
Hmm.
And took me a while to understand. I had to talk to my wife 2 days after that video went viral. I didn't even know her. I got a lot of calls and messages.
Are you serious?
I tell you, my sister and Ottawa called me last night with her kids on video call. What's going on? My friends in South Africa, they were okay. Everybody was calling me. I was like, well, I didn't expect it to go that far. But anyways, the truth is
That's the
bitter.
problem with Daddy Freeze platform. It just looks like one small place. You don't know, say the place they catch fire.
I'm sure could it didn't tire me. but, but the thing, so I'm going to dive into the topic now.
Yeah.
People are very emotional when people
What
say
did
the
your
truth
family
about
members
them.
say? Did they agree with you or they felt that you were wrong?
They agreed with me, 100%. And everything I said on your platform the last time was from personal experience. I didn't go far to say one of my friends said. I said this happened to me, this happened to my wife, to my niece, and to me. So again, when people are being so emotional and dragging me on it,
Can you please share your experience again for those who missed your first outing?
In 2016, I had a few medical concerns. I was rushed to the hospital as an emergency patient. When I got there, they had to roll me down with wheelchair and everything, got me in there. Well, I couldn't get a bed. There was no bed available in an emergency situation. So they tried to ask me questions pertaining to my health, if I'd had that issue before and all that. I answered. Then we started waiting. It was 4 hours. We waited for a doctor for an issue that was deemed an emergency issue, right? We had to wait for 4 hours. When the doctor came in, they started doing the blood test, urine test. I even had to do poop test, and then it took a while. Results, I couldn't get a result. So we went there at about 11 in the morning. My wife was there with me. My best friend, Abby, I don't know, she'd probably be busy right now. She's currently in Nigeria. She was there at the hospital with me. We spent
Can you call her? Can you call her and see if you can bring her to this live to support
I can tag her and see if she would come in.
All right.
Okay. I just tag her.
Please, let's see if she can call.
I'll go on Instagram live. So, well, long story short, we spent the entire day there. They didn't reach out to me the next day. I was sent home.
And this is a matter that was an emergency.
Yes. Unfortunately, I'm not able to disclose
No.
health issues.
Don't need to hear the exact concern.
Yes. The next day, they didn't reach out to me. The next 2 days, they didn't reach out to me. 3 days later, they called me at the hospital to say, hey, we're going to refer you to a dietitian, to another doctor. Do you have a family doctor? I said, no, I've been on the wait list forever. I'm still on the wait list as we speak. It's been 10 years.
Lie. How many years later?
10 years on the wait list for a medical doctor. I haven't gotten one. Anybody can go and check on the registry. I'm still there.
10 years in Canada on the wait list for a doctor.
And we still haven't gotten one till date.
Wow.
No family doctor. We can't get a family doctor because we've been on the wait list. So 3 days later, they called, they referred to a dietitian. They said the dietitian was going to reach out to me. They were going to refer me to scan and all that stuff. Well, it took another 1 week before I could get hear back from the dietitian, get an appointment for scan and all that.
An emergency matter.
At this point, I couldn't, that is, first, I'm sitting down right now. At that point, I couldn't sit down. I couldn't walk. I can't even crawl because I can't even bend my back. My wife will tell you when it was a difficult time for me. It was a difficult time, So, well, long story short, I went there, went for 2 scans, went for an ultrasound or whatever I did, all that. Then finally went to a dietitian and all that. I found out that this was taking closely 1 month and I wasn't getting the desired help that I needed. So what I did was I told my wife, I said, hey, I'm going to Nigeria.
Do you have any private clinics in Canada?
There's none. It's all the hospitals are run by government. My boss, my immediate boss at work, is the board, is the board of director, whatever, the hospital board in my province. Okay, so the chairman of the board, the hospital board in my province, I work with him directly. So there is just one hospital in my city, one hospital, another city, one hospital, and then they have like private clinics that runs with ours. It starts 4 o'clock in the evening to 6 o'clock. And the moment a private clinic, they give out numbers and they reach 30 for that day, they stop there. You have to go back home. Now, the private clinic doesn't take care of an accident patient. They are restricted to a few issues they can only do. The best they will do for you is give you requisition, which you could take to the hospital for tests. So it's not an open clinic like Nigeria.
What province is this in Canada?
Well, Prince Edward Highland.
Is it the same in Toronto, Ontario, all those other places?
I have my sister, I have my wife families in Ontario, and they pretty much face the same issues. Pretty much. So when people
this same Canada where everybody say will go.
And see, that the first thing, like I said after our live video the other time, I had a reflection because I had a conversation with my wife. Everybody say make we go now for different reasons. Canada to you, not be big deal. To some people, an achievement. So whoever has them as achievement, good for them. I'm lucky for them, you know. Well, that was that of my own situation where I said I had to go back to Nigeria. I had to tell the doctor here. I said, you know what? I called my dad. He was worried for how many months he was worried that he didn't know what was going to happen. You know, there was nobody talking to me. We're just a back and forth from the hospital back to. At this point, I couldn't even work for some time. I was at home out of job because I wasn't able to go to work. My dad was worried. He had already done his own research back home. Spoke to my medical, to our doctor there, Dr. Egg, who is the chief medical consultant in Benin. You know, he requested from my medical record to send from Canada back home. I reached out to the doctor.
Send your medical record from Canada to Nigeria.
I just told you, I said Dr. Egby is a medical consultant in Benin.
Shout out to Dr. Egby. Much love, Dr. Egby.
So he went back, so they sent my records to him back in Nigeria. I planned a trip, went back home with my wife. First thing I did the day I landed, went to his house, paid a visit to him and his family. Then we went to his clinic. He has a private clinic too for consultants. So we went there, we discussed about the issue. He gave me requisition. I went to lab at Sapler. There's different labs that I had to visit, you know, scans and everything. Got all the help that I needed. Got medications that I needed. And at that time, I was telling you that the phrase they gave me, they had to give me a medication, yeah. The medication they gave me, my brother, was just for me to be able to sleep and relax, for pains, to reduce the pain. Wasn't even taking care of the issue that we're looking at. Abby is here. Abby, if you can send her the Facebook request, she's there.
Abby, please send me a request, I want to hear this story.
She's a very good friend. She's been with me for a very long time, so she should be able to share these stories firsthand from what I'm saying.
Canada people, they're not here.
So, well, I got all the help that I needed from Nigeria, got everything. Again, when people are saying the healthcare in Nigeria is poor, I keep telling them, I said, if you have a health insurance, you don't have to pay for pockets. My parents had an health insurance. I did not spend more than 35,000 naira.
It's a lie.
That the first time me and you did live video, I know I still have to sleep because I have to put in a request. I was taken care of. I was taking care of what I needed. The treatment I needed was administered to me. So I was taken care of. It was, and I spent 27 days in Nigeria on that trip. So I got everything I needed done in 27 days. And this is something I have been trying to get done where I live.
For how long?
Unfortunately,
are you trying to get it done in Canada?
I think for 1 month plus, nothing was coming forth. There was nothing coming forth. I had to plan a trip. Started in June. I left Canada to Nigeria. It was December. We went to Nigeria, yeah? December. And I went to Nigeria in December and got everything else.
Abby's handle. Please, what is Abby's handle?
ABIEYUWAXO.
Okay, I've seen her. I've seen her. I've sent her a request.
Okay, thank you, DF. So, therefore, that aside, I'll be there, join Nigeria, I'll be.
Like mad. Like mad. It's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, my darling sister Abby. So this gentleman was telling me a story that does not sound real. And he said
Oh,
you
okay.
were aware of it. That he was really ill in Canada and could not get help. And then he had to come home to Nigeria to get treatment. Please share your insight in the story or into the story.
Well, that sounds about right. Because first of all, like healthcare is free in Canada, but it's not accessible like for everybody. So a lot of times there's like unrealistic wait times. Like you have to be waiting 12, 14, 18, 20 something hours in the emergency room to even get access to any of those things. But yeah, concerning him specifically, yeah, we were in the hospital for a very, very long time trying to get access to a doctor. Like this is not like, oh, we were in the hospital and getting treated. Like we were waiting to be seen for a very long
Wow.
time. And yeah, like we just never got. And I've been seeing in the comments, by the way, about like province. I'm so sorry. Like, unless you've never been to the hospital at all, this is a problem. This is an issue that is Canada wide. They literally have issues with availability of healthcare workers. So it's not a thing that's like, oh, PEI or like Nova Scotia or like literally everybody has issues with it. Like just say you've never been to the hospital and let it be. But and we thank God for that you guys have never been to the hospital. But if you have in this life, just hope you're never sick there because like and also there are also other issues where like obviously in very dire situations, like maybe if you fall in front of them and roll on the floor and you're and maybe just maybe they might take you seriously. But there are also people that need to be tested that might be in severe stages of their illnesses that don't get the attention that they need before it gets too late. You know what I mean? Like you're literally on the floor bleeding,
Sorry,
rolling, unconscious. They don't even.
sorry to cut you short. Before you guys asking what status we have in Canada, I've never shown this anywhere in the world. So I'm not illegal in Canada. I don't know whether, no, I don't understand. I never ever talk about this, but since you people are worried about me being legal or
Yeah, I'm
illegal,
seeing
this
like
is
some
it.
very
So
stupid, like very dense comments. Why would we make this up? Like, there's no reason to make it up, to be very honest with you. Like, this is a person's experience, and it's very different if like it was one experience. It was just his
There are
experience. It's so
videos
many different
all over
people's
the
experience.
internet
There's so many different people's
moaning and
experience.
groaning
It's my experience
about
as well. Like, I don't even go to the hospital like when I'm sick because it's a waste of my time. It's a waste of my time. Like I could be there for. I would probably be better off at home than going to the hospital here because
Abi,
I'm good.
let me recollect. Remember that day we were waiting at the EMAD, right? When I was sick, the naval officer who had
The naval officer
gotten out from
showed
his
up with
brain,
his head. You know,
bleeding,
that was
and
when we lost hope
as a naval
because
officer
that was
who
when
is
I lost
serving,
all hope
he
because
wasn't attended to.
I lost all hope there because it's like if you are literally a naval officer that serves Canada, that serves this country, and you can't get immediate help you're literally your head, then like who the fuck, like who am I to expect any sort of help? You know what I mean? So
wow.
yeah, that's basically what it is. Like you're just better off.
This is scary.
Yes, there are more people in Lekki, but Lagos is grossly overpopulated. It's the smallest state in Nigeria, and like most people live there. So that has nothing to do with the size, the availability of healthcare professionals. In fact, the fact that there are less people in PEI means that there should be more healthcare professionals. Like
Logically,
it should reach it's supposed to reach everybody hand now, but that's not the case. So
a lot of people are also saying she's discouraging you from relocating. No, that's not the story here.
no,
No,
not at all.
it's a choice thing. If you want to relocate, that's your own
You
Exactly.
choice.
see,
Like
there's
why
But
would
something
I?
I always say.
Why would I influence your
Most
decision
people
on that?
who relocate are poorly advised. Some of them think that when they get to USA or Canada, they will start to pick money on the floor. Like from the airport, they'll just give them a bag of money, say, welcome to America, or welcome to...
yes, let me tell you, one of the persons that dragged me on your
Yeah.
video, okay,
Yes.
was a lecturer in Nigeria. His wife was a senior road safety officer. They left that job, left everything behind, came here. He was working at Walmart, stocking chef. Nigeria, we lecturer show that they like this. Lecturer call you on the stock chef. So when people are saying, if you have something good doing where you are, again, it's a choice thing. I cannot tell you what to do. But if you have something good, a respectful job, a well-paid job, what is well-paid? People think if you are earning 200K in Nigeria, it's bad. Or if you're earning 100K, but how much is a flat, 1 year rent for a flat in Nigeria? In
Unless
an
you are in
average area.
Lagos, if you earn ₦1 million a year and you live in Ibadan, ₦1 million a month, I mean, and you live in Ibadan, in Oshogbo, in maybe Anambra, Enugu, you will live a decent life. 2 million
Yeah, how much is a
a
flat
month,
in
you live a
Lagos, in
decent life
Lekki?
in Lagos.
How much is a decent flat in Lekki Chevron? 3 million, 3.5, right? A year. So if you're earning ₦1 million a month, it simply means your 3 months could take the affair of your rent for 1 year.
Absolutely.
So the problem is people lack planning and
I,
people
I think
listen
people
to
just
too
want to
many.
live above their means. Like, you just want to live above your means at the end
So
of the day.
people that are saying, that are criticizing it, I pray and hope they come so that we can all enjoy and benefit from it. Again, I have benefited from Canada. I am not saying that I have never benefited anything. We're talking about the health system and people relocated to the UK and those relocated to Canada who are richer. And that was the conversation the other day.
Somebody said
So
PIE is a village.
has the person ever been here?
No.
You
I
cannot
want to
sleep in
play a
your
video.
bed.
I want to play a video. I want to play a video for you. Nigerians. Well, here's a robbery going on in a mall in Canada, but that's not what I'm talking
That's some
about.
brown thing.
We are focusing today on the healthcare system. Now, I want you to read this comment. I don't know if you can see it. So you can see that I just got my information by investigating this. See this. Over 15,000 Canadians lost their lives while waiting for surgery or diagnosis in 2023 to 2024. Look at the number, 15,000, not 1,500 though.
Mind you, it's like how many people live in Canada? Like
15,000 waiting, like what this brother was waiting for. 15,000 people buy because they not get the health care. That's still not what I wanted to show you. Hold on.
When my wife had our first child, I'll be there. She will tell me, my wife is behind me. I got scared and told my wife, I said, we're not born again. Because of what happened in the labor room, like my experience there. I said, it took me 4 years to have another child.
Hold on. Sorry, brother. I'll ask you that again. I just want to show you this video. And now, this is not in the village that IPI, what do they call the village where you did?
PI.
Now, just watch this. This is Ontario. Look at the lineup in the snow.
Mind you, they are going to, after this lineup, they are going to wait for another 15 to 20 years to finally get assigned a family doctor. The wait list right now is over 20 years old. There are people that signed up 20 years ago that are still
gotten a doctor
for a family doctor. Just so you know.
Let me tell you, in Nigeria, I have a doctor for every part of my body. I have my face doctor. I have my overall doctor. Let me tell you, I even have doctors who, for instance, if my children have a boil, something small, they do consultancy online. I'll just call them. book a session online, we'll do a Zoom meeting. It's something small that doesn't need examination. Sometimes they'll say, go and get this test, call me tomorrow and give me the result. We'll call them in. I did it for I do for all my kids. It's only when they have high fever or something that I take them to the hospital. When they have little things like this, their skin is changing color, or they have rashes and no fever, I will get a consultancy over the phone, prescription over the phone. They will call the pharmacy. The pharmacy will send, as in, it's easy in Nigeria when it comes to.
We have the same service here. It's called the Mapo app. But the Mapo app, when you get there, you still have to wait on the queue first. Again, you have to wait on the queue. I'm being honest. I'm registered on the Mapo app from work. My wife has it as well. You have to wait on the queue, and then when you finally meet a doctor, they'll be like, "Oh, this is not something we can discuss over on the phone. You have to go into a walking clinic or an emergency room to get it looked at." So again, what's the functionality of an app if I cannot get that basic consultation and get my required medications or know the next step to take?
Okay, guys, if you live in Canada and you want to share your experience, and it is different from our brother here's experience, why don't you send me a request? If you are in Canada, I don't want to hear I'm in Nigeria.
Okay, guys, I'm going to hop off.
Thank you so much, Abby.
Bye.
Lovely meeting you and lovely talking to you. Do enjoy Nigeria. Have you, for any reason, had to go to Nigeria for treatment, or you've just been lucky?
I've been lucky. I've been lucky enough to not have to do that.
All right. Well, take care. God bless.
All right. Bye.
Now, before we bring somebody else, my brother, you were talking about your wife's experience during childbirth. Can you throw some light on that?
We had our baby 2020. My first was in 2020. My wife, there was no doctor for us because we don't have a family doctor, right? So we have to go to labor and delivery. Each time we want to get checked, then the delivery day, not even, we went to the hospital, we got checked that day to see if the delivery was closed. And we're told, no, you go home, nothing is happening today. We went home. I was working from home. Few minutes, my wife started crying. She said, "Babe, I have cramp," or I don't know what they call it in pregnancy. She said, well, she started crying. I said, you know what, we're going to go back to the hospital. I was in a meeting at work, so I told my guys from work, I said, I'm going to head out with my wife. I have to take her to the hospital. They know we're expecting, right? So we got to the hospital. When we got there, they went to labor and delivery. They gave us a room. When they sent a student nurse to come in, one small girl walked in. Well, it is not like Nigeria where the nurses wear white. The student nurse will wear probably blue or the head. So you can't really tell, right, unless you ask. So the nurse came in, she checked, she brought in some scanner, they did ultrasound and all that. At this time, I was curious, what's going on. And then the nurse left, came back with another nurse, they checked again, left, came back with another nurse. So I asked, I said, what's going on here? They said, well, the baby would arrive soon. I said, so how did you know? They said, well, it's centimeter. I said, so how many centimeters is she right now? They said 7. I said, whoa, so how many centimeters does it have to be for the baby to arrive? I think they said 10. I said, 7 is already 10. I said, okay, can you please get the doctor for us? My brother, they walk up and down, they went back, forth, just the student nurse and all that. So I held my wife's hand, I said, babe, like Nollywood, we're going to do this. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, you can do it. Well, was the student nurse there? The girl even had to ask me one quick question. Say, are you a doctor? I said, no. I'm an IT guy, I'm an IT professional. I have no business in the medical field, Well, 10 centimeters, my wife started pushing. Now me even start say they give the student nurse and the one other nurse say, I don't see picky hair though. Well, we finally delivered the baby. The doctor came in at the last minute, delivered the baby. They gave the baby to the mother. The first time the mother gripped the baby, they asked me if I was going to cut the umbilical cord. I said, no, I can't do that. I don't want to hurt my child. Well, so they helped us do that. Well, it was time to clean her up and stitch her. There was time to stitch, right? The doctor left. My wife was opened. Maybe they cry for my wife body. Became way white smoke today, but they cry on top my wife body. My wife did there, helpless. What happened? This is somebody they did not inject before the labor because she didn't take any pain med because we had already gotten to that point where the baby was coming out when they started attending to us. The way doctor, they say,
Ah!
doctor, basically funny, they say doctor go do emergency C-section for somebody. So one doctor was working the entire hospital that day. The doctor finished his C-section. When he finished C-section, after like an hour or so, he came back, now clean her, now stitch her up. I told my wife that I said, this is the first and the last. You see me, I'm picking. I not do again. I told my mom, it took me 4 years to have another child after my first child. And you know what? But after that, because of that lack of that proper care, my wife got infection on that stitches when we got home.
Hey!
My mother was here.
Canada!
My mother came. She was here. Again, we started going back and forth to the hospital. Not even a proper care. My child we just gave birth in November year, just November year. My wife got in there just to give her injection, whatever they call the injection for pain. Do you know that the first that they did not inject her until the baby came? Because why? They said the doctor will want to take that particular injection, not there around. They busy, they do CS. So when people are speaking or are saying you are saying trash, I will speak from my own first-hand experience. If you have a contrary experience to mine, it's fine. It's your experience. It's your life. Go online. Go to that first platform. Share your own good testimony, and I will clap for you and be happy for you. Abby just said, I've been lucky enough not to have a medical emergency. Well, I've been unlucky to have one. And this whole thing we're talking about at the face, I'm not saying if they had asked me to pay, I would pay. Because there were a time my health card was expired, I went to the hospital and I was asked to pay $80 to see the doctor in the clinic. I paid. I never complained about it. I never went back for reimbursement. So when people are saying it's free, people are ready to pay. There is no hospital to look at you, to check you, even while you have the money to pay. I can keep going on with relatives that are close to me, their own experience, but it is not in my position to share their own experience. But again, when people say Canada has the best healthcare system, I'm sorry, from my own point of view, it is zero. I would go Nigeria 100 times and go here.
Now, let us talk about life in Canada in general. Would you, if you were earning, say, if you could find a remote job that will pay you $3,000 a month, would you stay in Canada or would you come back to Nigeria?
That the face. If I get job here that pays me 1,500, which is 1,500 a month remotely, that they would not be worried where I'm working from, I would be in Nigeria. 1,500, you know how many millionaire with that? Which I do for Nigeria? Which I spend on? If I have $1,500 job remotely that I can remotely access and work from Nigeria, I would be in Nigeria as we speak. See, snow now. Today my kids didn't go to school because of the snowstorm. They had to shut down the school. Do you think I want to be in this situation?
Ah!
You think I wish to be in this
Although,
situation? There was a
can we see
snowstorm
the
this morning.
snow?
Anybody can
Can you show
testify
us
to
the snow
that.
from the window?
They can open my patio. They don't come out on me. They can see.
Although everybody, they say cap, cap, cap. He is telling
When they
you
say
his
car,
story.
the person come and say snowstorm. There was a snowstorm. This is true.
Ah!
See.
Ah! Somebody said Moji Olaya died in Canada trying to give birth. All those of you saying capping, you don't see the snow. I mean, a picture and show you.
See, a lot of you would say captain, a lot of you would say lie, a lot of you would say, oh God, come back to Nigeria. Okay, I would like to, if you don't mind, I would like to address those and say, come back to Nigeria if you don't tire for Canada. When you leave your country to another country without the full details or even with the full information, then you live in another place for 1 year or two. You started building and establishing your life there, which means wherever you came from, you have been absent from that place for a certain period of time. You've already started building here. So do you think it is just easy to pack your bag and what you've built and go back. And why do you think that it is not within my portfolio to want to go back in a few months?
Okay, so what if somebody comes to you now and says, you just won the lottery, you just won 500,000 Canadian dollars? What will your next step be?
That is face. If my mama did Instagram, I go up to her for coming here and say, I did tell her every day I come back house. It's just personal reasons. That's why I've never left here. Anybody that knows me very well, that joins this live video will tell you, I'm one person that tells them every morning that it's just a matter of time I am leaving. I don't need 500,000 at the phrase. I get small bungalow for house where I should park enter. I get small duplex of village. I don't need 500,000. I am okay provided I have a roof over my head. I don't need 500,000.
This Canada do you strong thing, no?
Again, like I said,
just house, you are ready to come back.
That the phrase, I'm not doing bad in Canada. For people that will say to somebody, I own a 5-bedroom duplex. I drive one of the best cars. At least I'm the first, I'm the black man who drives the most expensive car in my province. So everybody go and fast check me.
You drive?
My wife drives in Macan and I drive a GLE.
Your wife drives?
And I drive a convertible in the summer.
Your wife?
My wife drives in Macan. In Macan. Porsche Macan. Yes. Fully
and
paid. I'm not the only anybody, Papa. I drive a GLE and the BMW
which year
convertible.
GLE?
19.
2019, which is fair enough. So you will leave a 2019 GLE and a Porsche Macan to come back to a village in Nigeria just because you have a house there.
My brother, I will go back to Benin City. I'll never go to Abuja. Benin. I was born and bred in Benin. I'll go back to Benin. I know they go. I didn't tell you like if it's one or Ikoyi. I said Benin. So.
Hey. Oh God. Oh God. Eh?
Again, to every person their own story.
Somebody say just get one because of winter. And hey, you say you drive a convertible during the summer.
During the summer, I drive my BMW with an M series engine. Anybody that knows an M series engine knows the jet engine. So again, when I say I don't want to be here, it's not because I'm suffering here, or not because I have a shitty job. I work as an IT professional and I'm doing well for myself.
Okay, I have another sister here. Carrie's online now.
Yes.
Where are you? Are you in the UK? Are you okay in the UK or you are back in Nigeria?
Yes, I'm in Nigeria.
Hi.
Hi,
now,
brother.
this sister of mine.
Hi.
Now, put on your light. I want them to see you.
Oh my God.
I remember when I first met her, she was planning on going for her master's in UK. This girl that you are seeing here, or this lady, let me not call a grown woman girl. So I remember we're having that conversation and she was like, Daddy, please, I'm done with Nigeria. I've sold my house and I'm relocating to the UK. She has come back to Nigeria now. I'm not making... If I lie, cut me. If I lie, this is... I remember I was sitting on this same bed here. I was chatting with her then, and she was telling me that, and she, by the way, she was the best graduating student in her class in the UK.
Good one. Congrats.
She has a PhD. And she has 2 masters.
Right.
She'll come here and be doing Kerry Hilson, Kerry Kate. She's Dr. Kerry. She not just want anything. We go just make her look like say she's too serious. She is a doctor, PhD. She packed her bag one day. She just tell me, say, Daddy Freeze, I know I've invested a lot in this UK, but I'm coming back home.
Straight up.
Now, I say this all the time. If everything was working fine in Nigeria, the people that will be abroad will not be up to 3% of you people. I say this all the time. The reason why you are abroad is because if Nigeria started to work, why will you be where there is snow? In Nigeria, we have rain. It will rain one day on Davido's wedding, rain. Everywhere was flooded. The next day, the road opened. And that's only on the island. Mainland people not get flood. Ibadan people not get flood. Benin people not get flood. Abuja not get flood. Now, it's a specific problem that we have on the island because now water we push back, build our houses. Now, I say this all the time. Emergency healthcare is my biggest problem with Nigeria, and security. Forget this light. We have solved it. Since you've been watching this live, you don't see light. Light go, come back in 30 seconds. You know they reach 1 minute. Any day my light go. Time am. Bring stopwatch. Time am. Use your phone stopwatch. My light, no, they go for it. Once in a while when they have a major shutdown, it's like once or twice a year, you will have the light going for like 30 minutes or 20 minutes. And you know, say, now shut down. So there's no light in Nigeria. I live with 24 hours light. Electricity in Nigeria is a general problem, but it is not what are we because of go abroad. When
you use solar.
even
You
my
use solar.
children that are in uni, I have kids in private uni and I have kids in federal uni. All of them wanted to go to federal uni. Now to pass the federal uni exam hard. So when they not get time or there was delaying, I just quickly moved there. Oh yeah, we are not delay your education. My child that is in federal uni, at the beggar me go private. She says she not wants it. She like federal university. She enjoy herself, and she's on a very high grade. So then they say the Nigerian educational system is bad. And I just said I don't understand it.
It's the best. I'm sorry, it's the best.
I don't understand it. It might not be as modern and as good as the Canadian or the UK system, but it is not bad. It is not as horrible as it is painted. So for me, the only worry, if they say, Nigeria, they worry you, Nigeria, they stress you. Now, if person get heart attack, you don't want to be in Nigeria. If you are in the US, if you are in the UK, or even if you are in Canada, you will do at least that emergency. Then secondly, nobody's going to rob you in Canada, nobody's going to kidnap you, nobody's going to rob you in London. You could. So you have to be careful. I went to Patek and I bought some stuff and I bought cufflinks and I was about to go. The lady said, no, you cannot carry Patek bag on the road. No. She now give me one nylon bag. Imagine, they can't hide the Patek small cufflinks so I buy. They can't hide them inside bag, computer. I say, I went to LV in the UK. As they pack my shoe finish, they give the shoe to me. As I want to go, they say, no, you cannot carry this bag like this on the road. They can't give. It happened to me in 2 places, Patek Philippe and Louis Vuitton. So the UK is not, of course, not as unsafe as Nigeria, but it is. There are some provinces like London that are not particularly safe. But you see, overall security, UK, Canada, US, they have it. Then overall healthcare. If there's time for you to, there are fantastic cancer centers in Nigeria. I've treated 3 cancer, what is that? 3 members of my family at different stages had cancer. All of them are fine. In Nigeria, all of them are fine. All of them are fine. Close my door and keep quiet. So, to say that the Nigerian healthcare system is bad is a big lie. It is not bad. It's just not built for emergencies. Person, they lose BLOOD. And then traffic will hold you. There's no helicopter. There's no ambulance that will be doing one, and they'll be clearing road. The ambulance will be inside that traffic. These are Nigeria's two. For me, there is no other problem in Nigeria apart from those 2. Healthcare, and I've said it, I'm sure, Kerry, you've heard me say this over and over again. Healthcare, imagine, not just healthcare. If that healthcare, where they do you slowly, you go treat them well for Nigeria. Just get money. You go there okay for Nigeria. Secondly, that emergency healthcare, say something needs to happen now, they need to move you now. Nigeria is not the best place. That is a problem in Nigeria. Somebody says, stop the lies.
I swear.
Me and your papa who
stop the lies. What do you mean? What's the lies?
Now me and your papa who they tell the lie? Olori Buruku.
You don't stop the lies.
Smell. No. You are who they lie. The only problem we have is that armed robbery, that Nigerian armed robbery, kidnapping, those Nigerian problems. Then emergency. Nigerian education is good. Our private universities are great. Our federal universities are good. They might not be as good as the American and the UK but they are good. They are not the kind that you will go there, you'll be frustrated. No. So make nobody now. When this gentleman and this lady, they have both said something. They could do well abroad, but they chose to come back to Nigeria. Let us respect them instead of running over ourselves and believing that we made such a fantastic deal, being we are the only one. As long as you are in Nigeria, you are suffering. Let me tell you, Nigeria does not work for some people. Some people, no matter how much you try, Nigeria will not just work for you. And you go abroad and in 1 year you have achieved a lot. But you see something that you also need to put into consideration. It is the fact that now another thing we need to talk about in Nigeria: pensions and retirement plans. Nigeria is not somewhere where you want to get old without a personal plan. In the UK, the EU, if you've worked for 40 years in Canada, in the UK or the EU or anywhere else in the world, you'll be fine as an old man or old woman. In Nigeria, if you not get children, you feel buy you because now your children will take care of you.
Someone
Yes,
say you don't live in Nigeria.
yes, you have to contribute into your pension fund here for you to be to get pension. If you do not contribute, when you get old, you would suffer as well. You won't get nothing. You have to opt in for that. You have to say when you're doing your paperwork at work, you have to say, okay, yes, pension. They take your pension and everything. My pension, I have access to cash out from my pension plan. I did so last year. I did cash out some money from it, and I'm going to do so this year again. So if I chop the money finish before I turn 65 or 90, I will suffer if I stay there. So it is your contribution, just like Nigerian too. You contribute, but you don't have access to it immediately. I think after you retire. But yeah, you have access to it at any point in time. You want to buy a house, you want to buy a car, you want to do something, you just call your pension company and say, hey, I'm looking to make this withdrawal from my pension plan. But you have to contribute. If you not contribute, you go suffer past person will not get pension for Nigeria. Because person will not get pension for Nigeria, you get neighbors. So if you go back to village, in mama brother day, in mama sister day, they go cook on fire for morning, cook on fire for evening. You go even be all right till you die. But if you're not doing here, I'm not just saying you get mama brother for you, mama sister for you. So again, it is you to subscribe for it and you not to spend it before you go old.
I agree.
Now, I want people who are agreeing with him to come. Like, by the way, pop my money gun if you're watching on TikTok. Una just they enjoy. Let me tell you, when I say America good, I think there's not true TikTok. I go take see whether or not good.
I could leave enough for this platform now, dear, but I think I don't share my
No.
own life.
Don't let anybody harass you. You shared your story, and person they here with the back them up. All of this in a comment section, they get their mind. Now for comment section, they are bola how they stand. May they come talk with their mouths, they go run. Comment section, boy, last year. Comment section, they cover your face. Come talk for life. Come talk. All of you where they argue with them. Come face them. At least he get mind. He bring his sister come. He bring his sister come.
America,
Bring his friend
Canada.
come. He's in Canada.
Sorry? Yeah,
Canada. Okay.
Kerry, why did you want to go back to Nigeria?
Go back.
I'm sorry. Why did you want to go back to Nigeria from the UK?
My life here is better than the UK.
What makes you think that your life is better in Nigeria than in the UK?
Dear. First of all, like I said, I was ill a particular time in the UK, my number one experience. And they booked me appointment for 2 weeks' time. And before that 2 weeks, I was well because I traveled with my medication, my malaria drugs, my typhoid drugs. So I just took them and I was fine. So that was one. normally in Nigeria, so I was comparing things like that. In Nigeria, if I'm sick, I just take myself to the hospital and I see a doctor and I'm attended to. But in the UK, you have to book and we pay for this NHS. Yet you to access it is a problem. One. Secondly, the apartments I lived in, it was a shared apartment. The monthly bill, my bill was £1,000 a month. And that's like 2 million naira. So I compared it to back home in Nigeria where you have to pay like a year rent, just pay for 1 year and you're good to go. So it wasn't favorable for me. And then in my apartment, there was a man that was living there. He's in his 50s. He's working 4 jobs. He's been in the UK for 15 years. He still doesn't have his passport, and he's still living there, and he's living in a shared apartment. So I just looked at myself. So I'm going to be here for the next 5, 10, 15 years and nothing to show. If I was in Nigeria, after 5, 10 years, I should have my own house. I shouldn't be living in a shared apartment for that long. And he has kids, he has a family. So I didn't see that life like he's progressing to anywhere. Meanwhile, back home, I'm not living like back home. I have my own house, but I'm in the UK. I'm in a shared apartment, and those are houses that are like cubicles. So all of those things just informed my returning back to Nigeria after school, and then that was it. I can go to the UK for holidays. I can go to the US for holidays. I can go to Canada for holidays, but living abroad, maybe when I get married, maybe my husband will like, okay, let's move. Then I know that I'm moving as a family. But me now, single girl, I'm not moving to anywhere. Nigeria, we die here.
Ah.
So
All right,
yeah,
my lovely
that's
sister that
it.
just joined, what are your thoughts?
Good evening, Daddy Freeze. Good evening,
Good evening, my
everyone.
sister. How are
Yeah,
you doing?
fine, sir. I've been listening to the conversation from the beginning, and really, my brother, I would say that I really pity your situation, really, because my one was, what is the point of staying in that Canada? Because I'm in Austria actually, and
Austria.
our healthcare system here is I will say, one of the best, based on everything you have been saying. Because here you were talking about when you were talking about when your wife was given birth. Basically, in Austria, once you know you are pregnant, you have to go to the hospital and to your doctor, your gynecologist from day one, and you must go from day one till you are giving birth. Basically, you must have an appointment every month. And in Austria, if you don't go for that appointment, once the child is 1.5 years, then the governor, like that's the city, the authority will ask you to bring. We have for what they call muta campers, like um a paper for the mother and the child. So if you take it there and you don't go for all those appointments, they are going to fine you for not going. Do you understand?
Mm.
Unlike the UK, I think if you are pregnant in the UK, you can only have like maybe 3 appointments to 4 appointments until you give birth. But unlike here, you must go every month. And then about the family doctor, I have a personal doctor. My husband has a personal doctor. My children also have a personal doctor. It wasn't you. We are not. It's not a must that you use one doctor. You can have your whole. You understand? And the paying, we only pay from salaries. Once, if I'm working and my husband is working, I can have mine and my husband can have his. Do you get? And the children can actually be under one person, either my husband or I. And in a case maybe where I stop working, then I can switch to my husband's insurance, you know,
Mm.
without paying anything. So it's really a first class treatment here.